Does size matter? What is it about size? I'm a 19 centimeter top. What does that mean? Hello, hello, hello. Today I want to talk about size. Your cock size. Does it matter? How big is it? How small is it? How important is it? So, let's talk about my earliest memory of when size was a thing. So, I had a friend who was a proud pure bottom, and he said that, oh, if your cock is less than 7 inches, you can't be a top. You have to be a bottom. Needs to be bigger than that, otherwise you can't be a top. And that was the first time I heard about cock and sizes, because growing up in school, there was a boy who used to go around touching everyone's cock, and he pestered me and harassed me to show him my cock so he could touch it. And I wasn't even aware of my sexuality then, but I had hit puberty early. And he said, oh, you have a big cock and you must shower with hot water. I didn't see any connection between the two, but as naive as we are, I was like, okay. And I hadn't seen other cocks, I hadn't seen porn, so I had no idea how big or small dicks were. So as time went by and my sexuality was a thing, I realized that life comes in tops and bottoms. And I didn't think maybe I was not big enough, or maybe I didn't know how to do or what to do. So I decided that I was just going to do whatever people asked me to do. So I became a bottom by default. And my cock size never came up until I moved to Australia, and there everyone's interested in how big your cock is and they want to see cock pics, and that was kind of the grinder era. And I really enjoyed sex with people, and they said they loved my cock, and I had sex in venues and everyone loved my cock. So it was never a thing where I ever thought that I could be big or I could be small. And then people, started getting into size, and size came into play, and people were like, oh, how big are you? This and that. I'm looking for bigger cocks. And I was just like, well, I can't physically make it bigger. How do I make it bigger? I would say, well endowed compared to the region where I come from. And I'm pretty happy with my cock. I love my cock. So, and it's more than enough. I mean, if you're just obsessed with sizes, then you're a size queen and you're branded as that, and then it becomes a thing and people really just go by the numbers. So when I was in Vietnam a few weeks ago, I saw that people had written their sizes in centimeters as their profile headlines. So there was, 16 centimeter, there was 15 centimeter, there was 21, and this and that. And I was like, okay, well, I'm 19, I'll put 19 centimeters top. And I just got a bombardment of messages after messages after messages. And I met a few of them, and we had great sex, and they had some sort of a magnetism to my cock because of the size, and it had branded that sex as a cock driven, their focus was much more different than my normal hookups as a top and bottom. And I found that very interesting, that there was some sort of a reaction or a subconscious decision where they were more attracted to it and more driven by it. And no one questioned it, no one thought it could be smaller, no one thought it could be bigger. Like, it was just the theatrics of it, it was just the beginning of it, and after that it was just sex. So I think I thought to myself that this is very interesting, that maybe someone will say, oh, but you're not 19 centimeters, or maybe, oh, but you are. And I have had sex with a lot of people who have said that their cocks are like large, extra large, and I meet them and I'm just like, yeah, but your cock is smaller than mine, or your cock is the same as mine, or I don't know, it doesn't look extra large. And it's really, and I always wonder, how people measure it and if it's just an ego boost or whether it's actually done based on, because I think everyone would measure it differently and everyone would maybe exaggerate it or maybe, I don't know. And then I had also put my cock as a small cock in Germany because in Germany, people are just like, oh, but you're not a large. And I was like, okay, am I a medium? Am I a small? What is it? Because every country has a different measurement system. And even though Google will tell you there's a measurement scale, but it's always perspective depending on the country you're in. And Germany has like big cocks, but a lot of men I slept with had smaller cocks than me. So I don't know, it just doesn't work that way. And I have particularly never been a size queen, so I've never been going for big cocks or things like that. I like pretty cocks. They could be small, they could be medium, they could be large, they could be extra, whatever. But I don't like sloppy cocks. And a lot of German cocks are like sloppy. They're like thick and long, but they really don't stand up like Asian cocks. And I find a hard Asian cock much, much more attractive. And that's why I'm like more attracted to like Indian cocks than like maybe German cocks. So coming from there, I have the same profile ID in India. And it's very interesting because the level of contact and the kind of contact I'm getting just from that headline is much, much more. And they're just like, I want to see your cock, show me your cock, I just want to suck it. And it's just like, I could have had the same cock earlier, or lesser or more, but just because I'm marketing it that way, it's all about that appeal. And I have tops also coming to me left, right, and center, which I always find fascinating in India because they all say they're top, and maybe it's to do with masculinity or being muscled and all these things, but are they actually tops? Is this what they really enjoy? Do they know their bodies? Do they know their sexuality? Do they know their sex appeal? What do they really enjoy? Do they listen to their bodies or they're just in their heads? And I think the same applies to size, where people think, oh, it's big, I want it, I want to experience it, I want to enjoy it, oh, it's going to fill me up and I'm really going to like it. But at the end of the day, they wouldn't really know yin from yang. And I think 1 or 2 centimeters is not going to make that difference. But hey, I'm an ass man. I love ass and I really enjoy that. But cocks, okay, I'm good at giving head, but I'm not really obsessed with them in any way. So I would be very interested to hear your thoughts on it. What you think, how do you feel about a cock, and do you really embrace it and love it? And does everyone think that they should be bigger or thicker or things like that? Because most of the bottoms I've had sex with regularly, they've said that they prefer non super big or thick cocks because it's very hard for them to take it and they don't really enjoy it. Whereas normal cocks like mine, they enjoy and they can take it easily. So, I mean, what's the biggie? Literally.